What is up, badasses? Today I am super stoked to welcome you back to my channel. I'm going to be talking to you all about my three-step process to have you breaking free from your inner critic, and we're going to dive right in a moment. But first, I want to say to you, welcome back. I'm going to be sharing out weekly videos that are going to inspire you, guide you, and teach you to step into and own and become your most confident, your most capable, your most unapologetic, and unstoppable as fuck badass self, so that you can create that aligned and that purpose driven life. So let's dive right in today. Step one to breaking up with and breaking free from the grasp, as I like to say, of your inner critic is to acknowledge and recognize that your thoughts are just thoughts. That is it. We get so attached to, like a dog is to a bone, to our thoughts. We get so attached to believing the voice inside of our head to be true, and it's the farthest thing from the truth. You know, something that can quickly ground you in understanding and not taking yourself so damn seriously is to ask yourself, where did these thoughts originate from? Number one, where did these thoughts originate from? And also, whose thoughts are they really? And I absolutely love, if you have not heard of Byron Katie, she has a simple one-pager on her website, thework.com, and she asks these 4 questions, which is the thought true? Is it true? Can you absolutely, number 2, can you absolutely know it to be true? Number 3, who are you when you believe this thought? Like, when you believe this intense inner critic inside your head, who are you, right? You believe that you're not good enough, that you're not capable, that you're not strong, that whatever story it is you're telling yourself, you believe this shit. And then, of course, you show up in experiences that bring that thought into reality. And then the last question is, who would you be without that thought? And that is really, really powerful. And that's what is going to lead us into step 2. But first is really understanding your thoughts can come and go as quickly as the wind. I like to say your thoughts are just farts. Like, imagine for a moment that just like when you fart, the fart comes and goes, right? And if you can start to bring humor to your thoughts, to remind yourself that every time a thought comes in, to be like, ooh, I just farted again. You know, I just did it again. It just happened again. I just farted again. If you start to think that every time you have a shaming, judging, critical thought of yourself, to be like, I just farted, I promise you that you're not going to take your thoughts as seriously, and you're going to understand and recognize that these are thoughts that you've inherited from a very young age. These seeds were planted a long time ago. And the question is, too, like, if you were your thoughts, who is observing your thoughts? Did you exist first? Did your thoughts exist? Did you have thoughts when you were a baby, right? Like, I promise you that. And so step number 2 is that to then create space between your thoughts. And when you create space between your thoughts, you can start to actually notice them and observe them. You can take a third-party perspective of actually, I like to say, notice your thoughts arising and notice them as if they were floating by like a river on a log. And rather than plucking the thought off and engaging it, or like sinking your teeth in and just like literally gnawing on the log like a beaver and gnawing on the thought, and then spiraling, right? Spiraling the thought further, rather than sinking your teeth in on the thought, really beginning to create space between the thought. And when you can create space between the thought, you can then automatically begin to choose differently, which we're going to talk about in step 3. Step 3 is about then reframing your relationship to your thought, and also understanding that every thought serves your inner critic and every quote unquote negative thought serves a deeper purpose. And when you can understand, how is this thought serving me? Why do these negative thoughts exist? Why does my inner critic exist? And understand that this is serving some deeper purpose that is getting some unmet need met. It's getting some unmet need met. And once you can understand that and start to actually directly meet the need, which I'm going to give you a specific example of how to do this, you can then start to also offer yourself some love, some compassion, and grace. But that's not, this last phase isn't possible if you first don't start to detach from your thoughts, and then also begin to question and create space between your thoughts. So step number 3, to illustrate this to you, is many of the clients that work with me, but one in particular, he was really struggling when he came into working with me. He had this really deep-seated limiting belief that he was weak, that he just wasn't capable, and he was weak, and he couldn't do anything. And he was very used to his dad always swooping in and saving the day. And he felt like he was never even given a chance to try at many things. Anytime he was struggling or was, perceived to be failing, his father would swoop in and save the day. Now, if he was so attached to this belief that he is not capable and he's weak, what we helped him to understand and uncover is that in subscribing to that belief as true, he was actually perpetuating this cycle of his father swooping in. And now you might be wondering, why, Erin, would he want to be doing this? But the thing is, every time his dad swooped in, he felt like he was deeply being taken care of. He felt like he was receiving love. He felt like he was creating unconsciously this bond with his father, that this was the dynamic of their relationship. And so this younger version of him, the inner child within him, was excited with joy that like his dad, he was getting the attention that he desired from his father. So on one level, his younger self, that's still, a very present part of him in his subconscious mind, he's like, I'm not going to stop doing this. I'm not going to stop believing that I'm weak, because if I stop believing it, I'm afraid that I'm not going to get my need for love met from my father. I'm afraid that I'm not going to have this bond with my dad, and I'm afraid I'm not going to get that level and degree of attention. But logically, we know as adults, trying to be successful in the world, is that belief of being weak and not being capable, is that belief truly serving him any longer? And we know, obviously, it's not. It would serve him much more for him to own his confidence, for him to own his capabilities, for him to own his strength, so that he can show up confidently in everything that he does, right? So, the next phase around this is, once he had that clear understanding that, number one, this part of him is showing up in this way for this reason, is to this is counterintuitive, but rather than shaming that part of us that is showing up as the weak part, the not capable, and then the inner critic surrounding that, rather than shaming that part of us, it's actually to bring that part of us love, to thank that part of us. Thank you for keeping me safe. Thank you for getting me love. Thank you for getting me the attention that I desire. And once you can start to bring a level of compassion to that part of you and understand that that part of you is just trying to get your unmet need met, then you also create space to understand, well, that part of me that I used to thought was so bad and I wish I could just stop doing it, actually is serving me in some way. And then the next step around that is to then more directly meet your need. And what I mean by that is, in his case, was to basically meet his need of feeling love. And that is something that I help my clients with. I would say the crux of the foundation of our work together is to cultivate this deep safety and this deep trust within their self, so that they feel like no matter what, they will never abandon or betray them. And they then also learn how to cultivate a relationship within their self, for their self, that is based on love. And then once it feels so safe for that part of you that subconsciously, in his case, is acting out by being attached to this belief, once he's getting that need for love met, he's like, okay, well, I kind of feel safe to now let go of this belief of needing to be weak and not capable to get that need met. I'm kind of trying to succinctly describe it to you is that once that part of you feels like complete, feels full, feels loved within themselves, then only then is it really safe for that belief that's no longer serving you to fall away. And as you can imagine here, right, there's also deeper blocks that get in the way then to actually fully owning your confidence, right? There could be the block of fear surrounding what it would mean that for my client, as an example, what it would mean for him to actually own his confidence if he's not used to doing that, and if he's used to this dynamic, this fear of what might happen if he lets go of that part of him that shows up in that way. And then also there's a level of needing to grieve the loss of his father in the sense of the sadness surrounding, well, I actually needed my dad to give me love in this way, and the way that I received it was from him swooping in and saving me, and actually feeling some sadness around that. And all of that is then what actually frees him up to fully stand in his power, stand in his confidence, stand in his capabilities, and banish that inner critic, that negative thought, for good. But for simplicity's sake, for just some simple tips that you can implement in your daily life, it's really these 3-step framework that we're talking about. Number 1, acknowledging the truth of your thoughts. Number 2, creating space between your thoughts. And number 3, then shifting into reframing your perspective, choosing the more empowering thought, meeting that need directly within yourself, and applying some love and compassion from that place too. And understanding that on every side of, a negative thought or a shameful thought that we have, there is always another possibility. There's always an opposite. There's always another end of the stick. And so the more consciously we choose to focus on the negative thought, the shaming, the criticizing, the beating ourselves up, the more we focus on that versus actually focusing on all the examples where we were capable and we are strong and we are enough, right? What we focus on expands. So we actually have to shift our point of attention, shift our focus from the, possibility that we're zeroed in on, that we're so laser lucid zeroed in on this negative thought, and we have to actually open up to the possibility of like, wow, maybe I am capable, maybe I am enough, maybe I am strong, maybe I am powerful. And as you begin to then focus on that grows and expands. But that your attention can't shift from one into the other until you really understand you're not your thoughts, and to not take yourself so damn seriously. So I want to leave you with one last thing, is that number 1, or 2 last things. If this video resonated with you, absolutely, I would love and appreciate for you to like and share and subscribe to my channel to never miss any other weekly updates or video downloads. I would also love for you to drop a comment below as to what limiting beliefs, what thought forms, what negative self-talk are you ready to let go of, that isn't serving you anymore, and you're just ready to let it go, to get it out there. And the last thing is that if you truly are ready in a really deeper way to break free from your inner critic, to let go of this shame cycle of not feeling enough, not feeling capable, the cycle of filling your head with shame and judgment and criticism and negative self-talk, if you're really ready to release that and step into and shift into your most confident, capable self that moves forward boldly with 100% clarity, 100% conviction and trust in yourself, then absolutely I would love to chat with you. You can book a free chat with me in the description box below, and on that call what we'll do is we'll explore where are you at, where do you want to go, and we'll get laser lucid clear on the next steps to get you there, so that you can quickly finally be creating that authentic, aligned life that your heart so deeply desires. So until next time, I'm sending you so much love, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.